Okay, so this is a presentation for the last session one, that is the assignment for assignment 11, and it's based on the YMBA Diploma Dhamma paper 2025, and it is on question either describe the qualities and achievements of the Buddha as a social reformer. So as an introduction, in our current time, when one discusses about major reform, social reform, it seems to revolve and involve violence, mass protest, political activism, or even revolution, etc. And normally this will lead to chaos and uncertainty for a period of time before it settles down. However, the Buddha did not use such methods. He used moral persuasion and logic with practical life examples and models to teach and show the way. Also, firstly, he helped transform individual human, and then he extended to the community and the nation at large. So in the Buddhist text, there are many great qualities of the Buddha. For example, in the Buddha Nusati, listed are the 9 great qualities of Buddha. Buddha possessed many types of unique knowledges and skills, and this enabled the Buddha to do his task well and with perfection. So in this essay, I will try to describe the 6 key qualities and the 7 major achievements of the Buddha that reformed the social fabric of ancient India, many of which still remain relevant today. So let's go into the main qualities of the Buddha as a social reformer. The first one is the moral courage. During Buddha's time, the caste system was very well entrenched in the psyche of the people, from the highest echelon to the lowest untouchable. This was accepted in total. From birth, one's caste was determined. Thus, one's status and position in the society, the scope of livelihood, the fate, etc., were all predetermined. Little could one do except to do whatever good, that is the kusala karma, within one's limited scope, and hope to be reborn, that is in the next life or future lives, to be born in a better family or better caste family. So Buddha challenged these beliefs and assumptions. He taught the people that a person or Brahmin, which is here at that time, Brahmin refers to those who are holy and pure. But these are not determined by their caste or lineage or even rituals. But Buddha says that it's determined by his conduct and the purity of his or her mind. So here the conduct and purity of mind refer to Chaga, Sila, Panya, and Karuna. Just for example, that in the Vasala Sutta, that is the discourse of outcast, Buddha mentioned that not by birth one becomes an outcast, but not by birth one becomes an outcast. Not by birth one becomes a Brahmin. It is by deeds one becomes an outcast. It is also by deeds one becomes a Brahmin. So similarly, the virtues of a Brahmana could be found in Brahmana Varga of the Dhammapada. So the second qualities of the Buddha is universal compassion. From the very first batch of his 60 arahants, the Buddha emphasized that the Dhamma should be propagated for the good and benefits of man and gods, and for the goods and benefits of the many. This was Mahakaruna, great compassion, a unique quality of a Buddha, not just compassion. He gave his teachings to whoever came to see him, the king, the aristocrats, the merchants, the laborers, the courtesans, and even the outcasts, the monastics, as well as the householders, the old and the young, men and women, as well as human and devas. There was no reservation, but full of compassion. Daily, Buddha, with his Mahakaruna, scanned the world to identify who might need his help, and he willingly appeared in front of him or her to provide his teaching or support. A good and famous example is Venerable Angulimala, who was a serial killer prior to Buddha's intervention. Daytime as well as nighttime, and even to the very last moment prior to his Mahaparinibbana. And though his body was very weak, the Buddha still gave his teaching to who? To the then wandering ascetic Subhadda. And Subhadda benefited greatly from there on. It was said that he attained Arahant after a few instructions from Buddha, which he practiced on. The third qualities are equality in spiritual potential. Buddha allowed, and the results show that awakening was open to all and who were willing to walk the path. A good example is Venerable Upali, who, proud to be ordained, was a barber to the Sakyam prince. And he later became an Arahant Thera, a senior Arahant. And he recited the Vinaya during the first Buddhist council. Similarly, Buddha's two chief female disciples, Hema Theri, which is foremost in wisdom, and Upalawana Theri, who is foremost in psychic power. Both women attained arahantship after being ordained as a bhikkhuni, and along with their fame as well as wisdom. Such exemplary cases also help to undermine the then rigid social hierarchy, where spirituality was reserved for the Brahmin caste and only men. The fourth qualities of Buddha is the non-violence. Buddha consistently discouraged harmful sacrifices, cruelty, and revenge. Buddha stopped the fight between the Koliyan and Sakyan clans over the Rohini River, that is, over the water resources, as well as reconciled them. Similarly, Buddha also personally managed to stop King Vidudaha of Kosala, that is one of the sons of King Pasenadi, twice from attacking the Sakyan clans. In Dhammapada verse 5, it said, hatred is never appeased by hatred. Hatred is appeased by loving kindness. In fact, Buddha encouraged his disciples and devotees to practice metta, karuna, mudita, and mudita as Brahma Vichara. These values were opposite to dosa, that is ill will. The fifth main qualities of the Buddha is he did institutional wisdom. Besides giving sermons or teachings, Buddha also founded the Sangha order, the Bhikkhuni, the Bhikkhu and the Bhikkhuni orders. It was a living community with rules and regulations, shared responsibilities, procedures for compassion, reconciliations, and discipline, and also procedures for harmonious living, meetings, and important spiritual protocols. In Mahaparinibbana Sutta, Buddha told Venerable Ananda the 7 principles of non-decline, that is the Satta Aparipaniya Dhamma. Satta refers to 7. This was a durable social institution based on Dhamma, rather than bloodline or other things, and is still being used and practiced today. The 6th is the practical realism, and this Buddha is actually very practical. Buddha taught according to cause and effect, not ideology. For example, he linked sufferings and social problems to greed, craving, injustice, violence, poverty, and moral decline. To the king and ministers, he advised them to rule justly and fairly, help the poor and the homeless, as these will gain the people's respect. That means the king and the minister will gain the people's respect and trust. While the poor and homeless did not need to resort to stealing, cheating, or lawlessness to survive. And to the people, the Buddha taught them to be skillful. That means they need to learn a skill so that they can earn righteously and live orderly. And with that, they will have harmony, peace, and prosperity. So generally, his theme of teaching and training are generosity, morality, restraint, mindfulness, and wise reflection, and their benefits and the welfares to the practitioners and the society at large. These ways, they were easily understood, and they are very persuasive. And thus, such teachings become very well accepted by the people. Okay, next we go to the major social achievements by the Buddha in his endeavors throughout his 45 years. The first one is the critique of the caste system. This is a great social contribution by the Buddha. It was the weakening of the absolute spiritual authority of the caste system and the belief. So what he did is he showed by action and example by allowing all social classes of people, including outcasts, for example, Sunita, the scavenger, to join the Sangha. He and his Sangha members who came from diverse backgrounds, from diverse castes, their ethics were clear evidence to the public of how holy and purified people conduct and behave, and their depth of knowledge and understanding of nature. And it's not by mere label or caste as in the caste system. Number 2, the achievement he did was the inclusive Sangha that he set up. Buddha and the Sangha admitted people from many social backgrounds. It's only differentiated by seniority of ordination, or vasa, that is the rank retreats that the monk has gone through, and it's not by caste or social norm. This was a radical social model then. It was against the norm, and it's also another aspect where it challenged the caste system. The third major achievement is Buddha opened a spiritual path for women. Besides teaching the women folk the Dhamma, the Buddha also opened a formal renunciation path, the Bhikkhuni Sangha. This was the first major religious order for women in Indian history. It provided a platform for women to join the order, cultivate intensively, and attain the highest spirituality, that is the liberation on Nirvana. The fourth achievement is Buddha redefined sacrifice, brahmana, and karma. Buddha successfully redefined some key and generally known and accepted terms of his time, like sacrifice, brahmana, and karma, such that they have more wholesome meanings and helps to uplift the people's ethical conduct and mental states. For example, in the Sigalo Vada Sutta, VN 31, he reinterpreted the worshipping the six directions as duties and responsibilities to parents, teachers, etc. In the Brahmana Varga of Dhammapada, that means the chapter of Brahmana, he redefined the popular term Brahmana as those who has proper and good conduct, virtuous and highly cultivated. Number 5 achievement is the righteous kingship and governance. As King Bimisara, King Pasanadi, the prince, and the ministers frequently sought his advice, the Buddha was able to teach them many good Dhamma-based governance principles, like generosity, non-cruelty, morality, honesty, and compassion. In Chakravarti Sutta, BN 26, Buddha gave a model of righteous governance systems. Buddha linked poverty to crime by taking care of the poor and homeless, getting them works, etc. It reduced the potential for people to commit crime. Number 6 is right livelihood and righteous wealth. And this is more towards the common lay people. So Buddha impressed on the people that wealth should be properly and honestly earned and used responsibly, as in Digajano Sutta, AN 8.45, translated as welfare and happiness discourse, and Parabhava Sutta, downfall discourse. Buddha highlight the potential downfall should one not be careful. And Buddha even listed livelihoods that one should avoid, namely trades in killing, trades in poisons, trade in intoxicants, trade in drugs and weapons. So these are so-called totally discouraged from being engaged in. The 7th social achievement is community harmony and conflict resolution. The Vinaya and many suttas show the ways that help lead to a harmonious living and how conflict should be resolved amicably and without animosity. In the Vinaya, there are 7 criteria for harmony. In the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, there is the list of criteria for a society not to decline. but prosper. So as a conclusion, with his vast, that is the Buddha's vast and encompassing skills and qualities, the Buddha was able to achieve many important social reforms that are still very relevant today. People of all levels in the society were receptive and willingly lived with them. And yet all these were in line with the principles of his teachings, namely generosity, morality, wisdom, and compassion. Some of these principles have been emulated like Tzu Chi. Venerable Zhen Yuan frequently reminded her disciples, 外行内修，要有慈悲和智慧. That is, while doing external activities, there should be inner cultivation, that is mentally as well as spiritually. And one should have compassion and wisdom as well. Thus, the Buddha was not only a spiritual teacher, but also a social architect whose principles continue to inspire and engage Buddhism today. Oh, sorry. I think I forgot to delete some of those that I. So this is a repeat. My apology, I will edit this. That's the end of this presentation. So I would like to thank Brother Lau for helping to go through my earlier draft and provide me with very good suggestions, which I have edited and incorporated in this presentation. Besides that, also I refers to YMBA guidebook. I also refer to Sutta Central for some Sutta details, and I actually get a lot of what you call guidance from Nobu as well. With that, thank you. May the Buddha's dispensation last long. That's all. So, are there any comments or?
Brother Ko,
Yeah.
sorry,
Okay.
we go to slide number 2. Sorry, number 2.
Okay.
But I don't. Yeah, I'm not very good in grammar lah. But I'm just thinking in our current time, right? When one discuss to be present tense, right? Or when one discuss to the past tense, but you're talking about in the current time.
Yeah, I think that that's good. Discuss. Yeah, should be present tense. What discuss? Okay.
It seems to revolve and involve violence, etc., which lead to chaos. Okay. Then slide number 3.
Slide number 3.
Discusses, right? That's how the word should be discusses, right?
Just now that one, is it?
Yeah. One discusses about. Or one ES.
ES. Okay.
Okay. Then the next one, slide number 3.
This one, right?
Wait. Buddha possess many types of unique knowledges. I think knowledge we don't count, right?
Actually, there is a chapter and there's a lecture by Brother Lau about the many knowledges that Buddha have. And some
but
of
knowledges we don't count, right? I don't know lah. I see this one like very odd like that. Many types of unique knowledges.
Many types of unique knowledges.
Many types of unique knowledge,
Okay.
No, because knowledge we don't count them one ma.
Oh, okay. You mean plural lah? Okay. Okay.
Then slide number 6.
Knowledge got S leh.
No lah. Got me.
But you use the what to check the grammar whether it come out or not. Because
I don't know, but I think knowledge is not countable.
Or uncountable, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So number 6, this one is it?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
or another one?
You talk about universal compassion. I think should be great compassion. Universal like very general like that. Universal macam bodhisattva leh. Even though I think you will try to say it is like not discriminating anyone. It's a partiality to everyone, but I think the word will be Maha Karuna, which is mentioned inside lah. I think the title should be Great Compassion instead of Universal Compassion. Do we say the Buddha is a universal compassion? We don't say like that, right? Did we say Buddha is full of universal compassion?
I think this is more to highlight the word compassion. That is a superlative, that this is universal.
So yeah, I think it should be Maha.
Mahakaruna is more of a unique to Buddha, I think. Because compassion itself is actually universal. So it's a double sort of superlative, just to emphasize the universal aspect of compassion.
Okay. Okay.
Because you see, compassion can be to individual, but compassion can be universal. So now, that means you extend out, then it becomes Brahma Vihara. If you are just compassion to a single being, then there is a directed compassion, to one being, But when you direct it to every being, then it becomes Brahma Vihara. So here I'm trying to emphasize that this is more like a Brahma Vihara rather than just a compassion itself.
Okay. If I were you, I would put great compassion, but it's okay lah. I just want to say my point. Okay, then
Okay,
slide 17.
17. Okay.
What?
This one is it, the governing principle. This one I just put in whatever come along, but definitely it's not everything here lah. Morality, yes, honesty.
No. I think it's the part when you talk about the 7 principles for not ruining one.
Oh, this one.
Is it this one? There are 7. You say about the Buddha preached to Ananda on the 7
community conflict. 7 criteria for harmony, and then the criteria for society.
This one. This one actually I cannot link, but maybe good to highlight some of the criteria lah, or else the one who read would not know what then suddenly jump to Mahaparidivana like cannot link like that.
Yeah, it's good if I got the time I would have quote some lah, because this one is the advice about, I think is Buddha talk to Ananda.
Yeah, I know we studied that one, but for somebody to read, right, suddenly okay. Okay, that's my view lah.
I do agree lah. It's a bit blur here lah.
But I think overall it's very well presented. It's very well researched and put in as an assignment.
That's why it takes me so much of time. Any other things?
Last part, I don't really agree to put the Chinese words.
Okay. This one is supposed to delete lah. This one should be subsequent. Should be okay. It should be come down. Then I have rearranged it.
No, I think there's no need to put the Chinese words, but you can explain. But you put the Chinese word, okay, assuming all can read lah.
Doesn't matter. It's just like the Pali. If I, for example, So when next presentation on the Dhammapada, I think what Brother Lau suggested to me is to put maybe one or two of the Pali verses in Dhammapada as a sample. It will brings out the teaching better. I find
That
it.
agree lah. That I agree. But putting Chinese word, I don't think it will brings up the meaning. I mean, unless if
That's why I
we
have to use the Hanyi Pinyin and the
okay.
to help to present it. Otherwise, it will be quite difficult for non-readers, non-Mandarin readers to understand it. Okay. Any others? I managed to finish the two homework that it was overdue. The current one, I'm supposed to do it, but I didn't manage to do it. It's still in the process of writing. So if not, then I'll continue on with the next presentation, question 9.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so this is the second topic that I have done. Is also based on the YMBA Diploma Dhamma paper for the year 2025, question 9. Describe the advice you can gain from Dhammapada to lead a righteous life, providing examples. So introduction. Dhammapada is one of the 16 books in Khuddaka Nikaya. In the Pali canon of Sutanta Nikaya, that is the basket of discourses. It has 423 short verses grouped under 26 chapters or Vaga, or sometimes you call it themes, 26 themes. It is a popular book among Buddhists and general readers because it is easy to read and understand due to its simplicity and easily relatable to people. However, it also has much values, as many of these verses are extracts from the Buddha's key teachings. So in this essay, I will try to explain 9 key advices from the Dhammapada. So for short, I use DPD to represent Dhammapada verse, as well as some from suttas and Abhidhamma that help guide one toward righteousness with examples from everyday conduct. In Buddhism, righteous life or righteous living is the combinations of Samma Ajiva, right livelihood, Samma Kammanta, right action, and Samma Vacha, right speech. As in the Noble Eightfold Path, that is a Sila component of the Noble Eightfold Path. So the first one is guard the mind. The Dhammapada verses that I referred to is Dhammapada verse 1, 2, 35, and 36. Dhammapada 1 and 2, I do not translate, I do not put it verbatim. Is some of the words are actually, I wrote it for simplicity. So Dhammapada verse 1 and 2, the mind is the forerunner, the chief, and most of these thoughts are mind-made. All actions and speeches start in mind. Dhammapada verse 35 and 36. That mind is difficult to see nor control because it's sweet, light, delicate, subtle, and it moves wherever it likes and pleases. Thus, the wise should guard the mind as it brings happiness. When the mind thinks, especially repeatedly, dwells on it, and intends on it, if one is not careful, which generally we are, the thought has the tendency to lead one to do bad or not beneficial action and speech. For example, when one is stuck in a traffic jam or whatever jam, so when feeling of discomfort, impatience, anger, etc. arises, try to recognize it as a mere thought, a mind state, before it becomes harsh speech or even action. Thus, it is very important to guard the mind. Watch for the heat, which is signify anger or resentment coming up. Wanting or justification. This is greed, sign of greed and jealousy. Or there is body discomfort or dis-ease. These are some gross indicators or symptoms of bad thoughts, that is, with hatred, greed, delusion roots manifesting. So the second one that we can learn from is do not repay anger with anger, or the same thing, hatred or harm, etc. And the reference is Dhammapada verse 5 and 6. Dhammapada verse 5. Nahi virena virani, samantida kudachanam, avirina cha samanti, esa dhammo sanantano. Hatred is never appeased by hatred. It is appeased by loving kindness. This is an ancient teaching. Dhammapada 6. Everyone must die. The wise realize it, thus quarrel ceases. It is common and the general tendency that people respond tit for tat, or that in other words is revenge. That's why there is so much quarreling, disharmony, unease, sufferings among family, community, nation, and the world. Thus, the Buddha's advice is to stop them there and then. Stop those negative life factors as these originate from the three unwholesome roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. Do not retaliate. Firstly, one could choose to pause. For example, take 3 deep breaths to allow time for the mind to quiet down. Do not respond to the displeasure or irritation, angry feeling within oneself. And the uncomfortable objects, because we tend to perceive the words, the actions, or even the subtle messages. These are uncomfortable objects that we perceive to be so. So do not aggravate the situations. One might also keep quiet for the time being, or even walk away. Then, as one's mental alertness and ability to manage emotions progresses, try to develop loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. That is the 4 Brahma Vihara towards oneself and all beings. These ways, one has less remorse or regret. There is more inner peace and balance of mind, as well as harmony in the family and community. The third component is to conquer oneself rather than others. So Dhammapada verse referred to is 103 to 105. It is better to conquer oneself than others. In life, many a time, and with good intention, one might try to give advice, guide, teach, etc. to others. Unfortunately, this could lead to disagreement, frustrations, and bad conditions. Due to each past experiences, learning, etc., everyone has his or her own preconceived ideas, views, as well as perspectives. And this might not be in line with us. Thus, as one grows older and hopefully matures, one might realize that it's better to conquer oneself, that is the self-mastery of our own mind and emotions, and change oneself for the better and wholesomeness within. Then by being a good model, a good example, by being honest, well restrained, at the same time still kind, with kindness, and with our patience, and being attentive, and yet humble, and are morally upright, etc. It might be more persuasive and more productive to both ourselves as well as people whom we are in contact with. As an illustration, for example, in work, instead of criticizing a colleague's mistakes, first ensure our own work is well done, is impeccable, tidy, orderly, whatever. And when one wish to offer help, let's do it gently and humbly. Number 4 is words, actions, and mind must be in synchronized. Dhammapada verse 51 and 52. The Buddha's words, or that is the teachings and advices, are beneficial to those who practices the Dhamma. That is, those who learn about it, they also practice those Dhammas that they learn from. Learning or knowing itself is not sufficient. It is better that these knowledges are part of one's life. It benefits oneself and others. Just like a flower with beauty, that is the physically is beautiful. So here refers to the teaching or the Dhamma. And the flower with beauty as well as with fragrance, that means the smell is fragrant. So the same thing is one who practices it, they have good behavior, good character. So they are popular, they are well received. So a person who speaks of compassion but acts harshly is like a flower without fragrance. And these similes or these examples is actually can be found in the Sutta Pitaka. So righteous living requires the alignment of speech and conduct with the mind, because mind is the forerunner. Mind will determine the direction of speech and conduct. So if the mind is pure, then the speech and the conduct will be towards wholesomeness. Number 5 is do good consistently, repeatedly, even small ones. Dhammapada verse 121 and 122. Be it evil or good, little by little, adds up. So it can be good, it can be bad. As an ancient saying goes, actions become habit, habits become character, and characters become one's personality. This saying is in sync with the Buddha's teaching. Don't look down on one thought as it could grow and become huge and be uncontrollable. Thus, it's clear and beneficial to choose the good and not the evil for one and others' benefits. For example, smiling at or smiling to a stranger. If you do it daily, it accumulates over time. And over time, one has a more gentle and compassionate disposition. That means naturally, because our smiling, it naturally softens our physical appearance, and it seems to be more gentle, and people seem to feel that it's more compassionate. Number 6 is avoid evil companies, seek the wise. So I refer to Upada Sutta as well as the Balavaga in Dhammapada. In Upada Sutta, that is SN 45.2, Buddha said to Venerable Ananda Thera that good friends, companions, and associates are the whole of the spiritual life. Friends, companions, and associates inter-influence one another. If the company is of bad characters, one of the influence and tend towards bad directions. Similarly, if they are of good, upright, and spiritually pure, one would also be following that directions. So do spend times and live among those, be they lay people, cultivators, nuns, and monks, who value honesty, generosity, integrity, and morality, harmony, calm, peace, and purity of mind. This reminds me that purity is inward, not merely external. Attire, symbols, titles, speaking lofty words, or performing rituals does not by itself make a person righteous. Conduct and mind matter more. Thus, do not confuse appearance with practice. In Dhammapada, there is a whole chapter called Balavaga, chapter on the fools, describing the character, traits, and weaknesses of the fools. For example, in Dhammapada verse 63, the fool who knows his foolishness is wise, at least to that extent. This may not be the best example, but that's what I've managed to get it. Number 7 is practice restraint, not repression. So I refer to Dhammapada verse 360, 361, 375, and 389. So Dhammapada 360 and 361 under the Bhikkhu Vaga. Restraint in eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, speech, and mind are good. A bhikkhu restrained in all senses is free from all ills, that is the samsara dukkha. Dhammapada 375. This is the beginning, control of the senses, contentment and restraint according to the fundamental principles, that is the Patimokkha. Dhammapada 389. For a Brahmana, there is no benefit if he does not practice restraint from anger. Inasmuch as one desists from the intention to harm, to that extent dukkha ceases. These are practice of restraint with understanding, knowing the purpose and benefits, and not by suppression, because the teacher seeks so, etc. For example, by restraining the tongue from gossiping, because one understands it's not beneficial and it could be harmful, and not because one forcefully keeps silent. Number 8 is be heedful. Dhammapada verse 21, 371, and 22. Dhammapada verse 21, under the Appamada Vaga, heedfulness chapter. Mindfulness is the way to deathlessness. Unmindfulness is the way to death. Dhammapada 371. Meditate, be mindful. Do not let your mind rejoice in sensual pleasures. So when we combine this heedfulness with associate with the wise, Buddha had this advice. Dhammapada verse 22. Fully comprehending this, that is, being heedful and associate with the wise who are mindful rejoice in being mindful and find delights in the domain of the Arya ones. Okay. Number 9, do good and purify the mind. The Dhammapada verse referred to is 183 and 391, as well as the Hara Sutta. Dhammapada verse 183. Sabba pasa akaranam kusalasa upasampada sacita pariyoda panam etam budanan sasanam. Do not do evil, do good, and purify the mind. This is the teaching of all Buddha. Dhammapada verse 391. That is, Buddha in a way redefined and called this a Brahmana as one who does no evil in deed, word, or thought. Also in the Dahara Sutta, SN 3.1, the Buddha highlighted the king personality of Kosala kingdom, not to look down or belittle four things because they are young, namely a prince, a snake, a fire, and a monk. As when they grow up, they could be a king, a big snake that can bite, a huge fire that can burn the whole forest, and a monk could become a pure virtuous monk. So one might do a bad thing, but it has long-term implications and consequences. Thus, it's better to start with good and pure mind, doing the good things, the wholesome things. This Dhammapada verse 183 is a great summary of all Buddha's teaching. The three trainings, the Tisika of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, as well as a fantastic guidance to living righteously, meaningfully, holistically, and spiritually. Finally, the conclusion is, from the above examples, it's clear that the verses or the teachings in the Dhammapada are easy to understand, use, and apply in one's daily life. When one practices them, this becomes easier and naturally. Thus, the Dhammapada is not a theoretical text, but a manual of daily conduct. Each verse a mirror for self-reflection and self-examination. Many of these are universal teachings, and they lead practitioners towards calmness, peacefulness, with harmonious and pleasant living. Hence, righteous living naturally arises, because righteous life is peaceful, unlike unrighteous life. That's the end of my presentation. So similarly, I have to thank Brother Lau for giving me very good comments and suggestions to my earlier draft, which I've incorporated into the presentation. Besides those, also I have actually referred to Dhammapada chapters in the YMBA guidebooks, as well as Dhammapada books by Venerable Narada, and the other one is Chicago International Buddhist Academy. And also I use refer to Nobu for some of the assistance to guide me and to refine my presentation. Thank you. May the Buddha's dispensation last long.
Hey, Brother Ko, good word, but if identical question come out during exam, I don't think you can finish all those stuff. So take whichever you selected one, and then re-emphasize on it. I think cannot finish. This one very long. You put it exam very jialat. I think you no time, at least 1 hour or more to finish. Yeah, I think you target about 35 minutes per answer. Just select whatever you think necessary.
Whatever comes to the mind, then I just write in. You can produce this type of work.
Very cool. Slide number 3, right?
Slide 3, okay. Slide 3. Okay. You see this one?
The mind is the forerunner, the chief, and most of these thoughts are mind made. But all thoughts are mind made, right?
Yeah, you can say all thoughts are mind-made. Yeah.
Because you say most of these thoughts are, then imply that some of the thoughts are not mind made.
Your dreaming?
Also mind made, ma? Or else how it come up?
Yeah. Okay, I'll change it now.
And also, I find that when you quote the Dhammapada, right, it's good to say what is it. Like if you say just Dhammapada 101, 102, 105 like that, I think people would not know what is that. Maybe it's good to say like now, like Dhammapada 1 and 2, the whole thing is about what? Rather than you say so many, but we actually don't know what is that.
Because the question asks,
Some you say, some you got explain what are the Dhammapada. Some you just put a general thing like refer to 51 and 52. So then I have to go and dig 51 and 52 say what. So I think it's better you quote one and you say what is that, and then you explain. No need to quote so many, but actually in the end, if the like me, I don't know what is that. I really don't know what is that. I have to go and dig.
yeah, I agree. But then even with this way, it's so long already. If I were to elaborate more, that would be even longer.
No, I mean you explain briefly what is a Dhammapada and how it relate. Rather than you say Dhammapada 51, 52, then it's better to control oneself than control others. It's like quite brief, right? Then you say 101, 102, 105. I actually don't know what is that. What is 101, 105 really? I also cannot remember. Like this one is good lah. Even if we don't put the Pali words, I think at least we understand hatred is never appeased by hatred. This one is good lor.
So
But if you just say 51, 52, then it's quite hard, right?
No, every Dhammapada I do put in the details, the teaching.
Quite brief, I think.
Yeah, like this
Like
one
the
is just quite brief but then because the heading, it has to be relevant to the heading.
But generally, it's very well researched. It's good to have a little bit more explanation on the Dhammapada. That's what I feel. But the content is good. The approach and the content is good.
And we can use this as reference. And then whatever weaknesses, try to improve on it. And those that is useful, you just pick it up. That's how I grow myself. That's the way of growing. Okay. So any other things? If not, then I'll stop sharing. Then that's the end of my presentation. My assignment, the three topics, I haven't finished it. So
I leave it to next session. Don't force yourself.